Since the 23rd of March rock band These Wicked Rivers have been unable to tour or even practice together due to the global pandemic. In this documentary, I'll be following the band as they return to the rehearsal studio for the first time in over 3 months, and ask them what it's like as a band living life after lockdown.
You know why we like it even more is because it's filled that horrible fucking gap that you had on the pedalboard.
Yep.
I don't like horrible fucking gaps.
I'll tell you, plenty of keys for that as well. What does this one again?
What's it like being a band in lockdown and releasing an album also in lockdown? It's like such a weird time, isn't it? So, like...
It's been definitely very weird. We were hoping to get out and tour to promote it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the promotions ended up being online, doing sort of live streams from my living room.
We had to get creative, didn't we?
Yeah, we've had to get creative, basically.
Whereas normally we just lob egg here in a van and go and play, and we just haven't been able to do that. And I think that's the thing I've missed. I've missed the most.
I don't think I've missed it as much, you know. Like no disrespect to knocking about with you. But like I said to the missus, like when it first happened, I was like, oh, it'd be nice to have a break, like focus on writing. But as soon as we started getting the notifications for the tour on the phone, it was like, oh.
Yeah, I probably should have turned those off.
Yeah.
Nice to have a break. You just didn't think that break would be 4.5 months.
No, I think that's the key.
That was not my fault. That was an outside source involved in that.
1, 2.
Can you turn me down a bit, please, Sam? For everyone's bet.
1, 2.
Not off. We're supposed to
Whoa! Can I go up a bit?
No, you're full.
What? Yeah.
1, 2. 1, 2.
Coming back into the studio, are you feeling it? Like, are you feeling like...
I've been ready for a while, I have.
Yeah, definitely feeling it. I'm just on the way here, I was excited.
Yeah, I was going to say there's like a buzz that I'm feeling when you come in. There's like a certain vibe.
It's just nice to see the boys again.
You know, absolutely divine. How many women have you broken on the way? So many of them.
Got a wet back, I'm just walking.
What have you got a wet back for?
Just all the same.
Can't be that.
Mate, I mean, currently we sound like a shit cover band imitation of it.
You said you thought we were what sounded wonderful.
I was going to say, are you feeling like you're a bit like sluggish with the sound at the minute, like having it been so long?
I'm struggling because
like...
I've changed things with my sound, but I've done it at low volume. And I've done it for the demo process. Now I've come into a practice room, turn everything up, and everything's different.
Going right back to like the beginning, what was the thing which made you guys like pick your said instruments? Like, what was the thing that like you thought, yes, I'm going to play guitar or drums? Or
there was one in the house, and that was it. Well, there was a piano in the house as well, but that was really hard. And to be honest, I've really got into sort of guitar music through like Oasis, Nirvana, Blur, all the sort of 90s Britpop that was around when I was in my teens.
What got you into your singing?
Got me into singing?
Yeah.
Probably listening to Pearl Jam, to be honest.
Well, Eddie, how's it going?
You just have a go, don't you?
Yeah, just have a go, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, started off like singing along to sort of Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, that kind of stuff.
I'd always had at the weekends. Obviously, parents have been at work, me being at school and everything. And at the weekends, the job of the household was to tidy the house. And there'd always just be music on in the background, rock music predominantly, Cream and stuff like that, and a bit more out there stuff, maybe Dire Straits, Genesis, that kind of noise. And it would always be on. And I was more of a guitar man first. I had a guitar bought for me first before I had any drums bought for me. And I just think that a natural sort of rhythmic aptitude showed itself in playing the guitar, a little bit clunky. And I had to go playing the drums instead at school, and it just felt right, basically. I think my mum and dad spotted something in me, so thank them for all the noise.
I sang for my first 4 years, and then I had the change from a boy to a man, and pretty soon realised that I wasn't going to be Robert Plant, but I knew that I had that kind of glimpse of playing live and stuff just through school, and I knew I wanted that, so I kind of just kept trying. And I was the same with Dad. I think my mum and dad just were really supportive and kept, every time I'd reach a milestone with the guitar, they'd kind of get me like a little better of a guitar and stuff, and that really helped keep me motivated. And yeah, it just went from there really. But I knew I always wanted something. Yeah.
For me, it was walking through Coventry City Centre with my dad and my brother. We stopped outside the one of the music shops. I don't even think it's open. I can't remember its name. I was about 6 or 7 at the time. Looked through the window, and then there was just guitars and basses in the window, and my brother was like, I like that one. It was a Strat, and then obviously I was like, nah. So it's all about that. It was a precision bass in the window, because it was bigger, basically. Little man syndrome. That's basically it. And then when I was 12, I got my first bass off me dad and stepmom for Christmas, and never loved me for it ever since.
Was like the first album that like really grabbed you? Like what was something that you maybe saw in like a vinyl shop or something and you thought yes, you know, like really clicked with it?
My dad bought me I think he bought me 5 albums on CD and a few vinyls when I was about 10 years old. And I had like Maiden's first album, I had Audio Slave's first album, I had a Genesis album, I had Nursery Crime, but I was too young for it, I didn't get it, I thought it was weird, and it wasn't going to get me any girls, so put that to one side.
And it was weird.
Yeah, and it was weird. I put it to one side, I picked it up when I was 25 and started wearing Velvet, and I'm like, yo, this is cool.
I get this now.
Yeah, I get this, yeah. But then one of them was Appetite for Destruction. I can remember looking on the back and just seeing them all kind of sat there, like a Les Paul, you know, all with the different images. And Izzy Stradlin in particular, I loved Izzy because he was the quiet one, and he played sort of the more hollow body guitars. So yeah, that just the whole image, and obviously the album itself just took me. I just wanted it.
For me, it'd probably be Blood Sugar Sex Magic by the Red Hot Chili Peppers and The Real Thing by Faith No More, because that's just what my dad used to play in the car whenever he took us out anywhere. And we had the first Rage Against the Machine album as well, but he always turned that off when it got towards the end of Killing in the Name.
Skip it. Song finishes there.
That's,
Skip it.
That's what happened, and we used to moan. Me and my brother used to complain.
What's the riff?
Like, how did you land on the name, like, these Wicked Rivers? Like, obviously you were saying...
We'd got a week before our first gig and we didn't have a name. And we really needed to think of one quick. So we stood in the car park outside the rehearsal room, just chucking words around until some of them stuck. Basically,
My memory of it is we were studying old songs on Spotify.
Well, we were looking at like old blues artists.
We were looking for influence, weren't
like
we?
Muddy Waters, stuff
B.B.
like
King, that kind of. And then we just. I remember you saying you wanted the word rivers in it somewhere.
I can't remember why.
We've had this conversation, but apparently I was involved heavily at this point, but I can't remember anything about this process whatsoever.
You were still inside. Me and Dan were just in the car park chatting.
Because I always loved the name, and I always liked the fact that I didn't really. I always thought it was already there, but I just wasn't involved.
There's a Facebook group that the three of us, probably Hallam as well, are still members of, called Band and That, which comes up every once in a while on my list of Facebook groups.
A bit of an upgrade from Band and That.
If I remember correctly, the last post in there is me saying, "Are we all alright with the name These Wicked Rivers?" And no responses.
And it's stuck from there.
Tumbleweeds rolled by.
Well, I've always liked the name. I think it evokes the character of the band that we're trying to put across. That's kind of maybe 60s, 70s thing, and then we can obviously use that as a foundation to bring in all our own sort of individual influences.
You can play the lower bit and I'll play the higher bit. So this is the low. You don't have to play it.
For the album, Eden, what was your like writing and recording process? Did you go in with like a set thing, like did you have like songs that you were going to go straight into and just put on the album, or did you like start from scratch?
We were writing them for probably about a year, maybe a year and a half.
When
before.
Hallam was still
We were writing them with Hallam,
Yeah, we were writing them with the old bass player, and then obviously he left, so that meant we couldn't really do anything until we found someone else. One thing that helps though is none of us are afraid, and no one gets offended if someone says, "Ah shit, let's not."
Yeah, we were quite comfortable with that from the off, weren't we?
Yeah.
You're still banging the drum of that odd time signature though, aren't you?
He's going to sneak it in. One day we'll be knackered and he'll just sneak it in, or none of us will realise.
It'll be on the outro of something.
We've tried things, haven't we? Like, we wanted to bring a psychedelic element, and we tried to, and I think there's aspects of that on Eden, but I can remember in the early days we tried to bring in songs, and I think we all know when something's not working or not who we are. You know, and we know when to leave it and move on, which I think is a healthy. I think we know our identity as a band, which is
definitely.
Which is cool, you know.
Do you have like a specific person that's like, you know, they're kind of like the main writer for the lyrics, and like somebody comes in with like...
Initially, I was the main writer for the lyrics. From Eden, on Eden, Aaron took, what,
About
three or four?
Yeah. Sam's got one.
Sam's got one.
Dan's got
Dan's got one.
It used to be you, pretty much exclusively you for a while.
You've got one on every record.
I've got one on every record, but
I think
one on The Enemy versus 3 for you, one on 2 versus 6 for you.
because I'd never written anything lyrically, so it was nice for you guys to give me that.
You went all out.
I was quite surprised that it wasn't shit, to be honest.
That's really good you say, you know. I was surprised it wasn't shit.
Not because I thought you'd be shit at it, just because you'd never done it before.
I'd never done it in my entire life, and I was so worried.
Like your first attempt was just like, was it Floyd? Your first attempt?
Yeah, I think so.
And it was just banging. Just needed some of the grammar corrected.
Yeah, that's how my lyrics work. I write an absolute parade of nonsense, and I do it in Robert Plant's register, and then I present it to Hartwell like a 3-course meal.
With my voice that's 5 octaves lower than that.
And then we find a compromise between them octaves, and Hartwell corrects most of the grammar and takes out some big words that I don't know the meaning of, but sound cool.
Because he will put words in that he doesn't know what they mean.
Some words don't even exist.
And it doesn't. And I do know what it means. So
we talk about that.
I have to explain to him what the word means and what word he should have used for the sentence to make sense.
But then we get there.
Oh yeah, we get there.
I mean,
I quite like writing like that, to be honest. The ideas are banging.
I've never encountered a song that can fit the words industrial sodomisation in before, but you've managed to do that.
Yeah.
It's on the album.
It is on the album.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
If anyone listens to the album can find the words industrial sodomization, you'll win nothing. Nothing, but you'll find the words industrial sodomization.
Has anyone found the reverse Bentechosaurus thing?
No,
I don't know. Is it even on there? Is it even on there? He made a promise.
So we're in the studio, and we're playing. Like, we're doing all their studio work, and then in the evening we just disappear down to the communal area, and we're having beers and we're playing FIFA. Artwell's bought his PlayStation with him. We're playing FIFA. It's you two, innit? You two are Belgium.
Yeah. We were destroying.
And you were,
embarrassing.
Decidedly better than me and Hartwell. Largely dragged down by me because I'm a big football fan. I'm sure.
We were about 4 bottles of red wine down at this point.
Yeah, but you didn't have him on your team.
We don't need excuses.
We don't need
Christian Benteke pops up with an absolutely world-class goal. Like an overhead kick from 80 yards out or something stupid like that. Sam gets dead excited and shouts really loudly, Bentechosaurus!
And I think I cried for about
You did,
4 hours.
yeah. We had to pause the game.
I was pretty out of it at this point. I wasn't prepared for him to shout Bentechosaurus at full voice. And it just became something. And I wanted him to do it all the time, but Sam never does anything on demand. But he'll do it when I least expect it.
Well, oh shit, I'm out for the
Yeah,
first
but
half
not from you.
You're not talking about it.
Once I remembered how to play the riff, I was alright.
Yeah, it's only a small aspect of it. Yeah,
You get that riff all right, so then I forgot the pre-chorus.
So, do you want to do Can't Take It? No.
I'll tell you why, because I have to relearn it, because we've never played it live since I've been in the band. Not doing it.
Won't Be Broken.
I was going to say, do you want to do some of the D?
On your own album, Eden, what would you say was your personal favourite? For do you have ones that you think, yes, that's for me?
I think my personal favourite is probably World in Chains. I think it was the first one I actually finished the lyrics for, and it's probably the one I'm happiest with how the lyrics turned out as well. And yeah, that's definitely my favourite one on the album actually.
I'm not going to say the same because obviously you just said it, but I remember that song just came about through Aaron had an idea and it was a jam and it went on for 10-12 minutes.
Yeah, I can remember that. I forgot about that.
And then we started cutting it. I know I challenged Aaron to write something like that because I thought we needed something spooky at the end. I didn't think it would turn out like that though. In terms of, I get a lot of fun out of playing when we practice, when we play Money. I get a lot of fun out of it. But that's probably subconsciously that's probably because I wrote the lyrics for that as well, so I feel a little bit more invested in it. But it's quite an upbeat, like thumping rock song, and it's a lot of energy for me to put into it, and I really, really enjoy getting behind it. And I think live it'll be. I think people will really, really dig that live.
Sure. It's either Tea Leaves, because it's fun and quirky and completely different to everything else. Absolutely adored that in the studio when we recorded it. It's either that or Ceasefire, and there's a running theme here, and it's mainly because we wrote the lyrics to it. You know?
Because you're our fucking song, so we'll be.
Yeah, basically. But I think there's more of an attachment to the song if the lyrics have come from you, because obviously, unless you're just writing utter jargon, there's like an emotional connection to it from periods of time in your life. So obviously what we're saying is it can relate to what you want, you can interpret it how you want, but obviously there's always that personal side of it because you've written what you're trying to express.
Mine's probably, I think, Evergreen. Probably for the same reason we've all said, because I wrote the lyrics for it. But I mean, Eden was the first time I'd ever wrote lyrics, and I think Evergreen was my second bash at it. And I was just starting to find my identity around what I wanted to put across and how I was going to do it. And it's just live. Another thing is live. It's just got that energy. It's a thing we've never not enjoyed playing it. So yeah, I think that'd be Evergreen.
One of the things I love about everything that we've done, and I include the 2-track in this as well, is that I think there's a progression through them, and I consider Eden very much an amalgamation of all three, kind of stylistically, that puts us in like having finally found our place. And I think I'll be honest, I think the songwriting's better on it as well.
Well, I think because it's obviously you've got more tracks on it with it being a full album. There's more space for you to try and to put everything in, and it feels more like us because of that, whereas the others it was just little bits of us. If that makes sense.
But there's a progression in it, because like the first EP, a lot of the writing was from your end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and I think as we've all become more comfortable and been able to grow creativity with you know, I think like you say, Eden's the nice climactic point as well.
Like, obviously we're in lockdown at the well, still kind of in lockdown, so you can't like gig at the moment. So what would you say, like, looking back, was one of your like more favourite gigs? Do you have like a favourite kind of one that stands out?
My favourite will always be the first one I did with them. It was at the Arches in Coventry.
I was going to say hometown gig.
Yeah, it's a hometown gig for me.
I met your mother.
You met my mother. Everyone met my mother. Yeah. Most of my family, since I've been playing, has never seen me perform live with any of the bands I've been with, so it was nice to come together with the boys. We'll get on stage, play our little gig, and then a lot of the crowd is all my family. So that was quite a nice moment for me. Like, here I am.
I don't know, it's difficult. I kind of look at different gigs for different reasons. I think the last time we played the Airy Dock, we had, which was to announce, to celebrate sort of the pre-order for the album. We had Howling Tides and Hungry Vultures were with us, and there was a couple of people that came to the gig, like Simon Andrews, who does a lot of like pedal work for me, and it just felt like there's a real community of people. You know, we've been gigging with Tides for a long time. Hungry Vultures got a lot of friends in there. Eddie who played drums when Dan wasn't able to at a point. You know, it was nice. It proper felt like everyone came together in support of not just us but the whole sort of community of music around the band. So yeah, probably that.
It was a nice sized crowd as well.
Yeah, it's good balance.
Yeah, a couple of hundred people. It was a good atmosphere that night. I think.
Yeah,
That was one of my favourites.
I'd probably agree with that. It's a couple of hundred sort of people, but because they've been coming to see us for so long as well, it felt like friends and family in the room with us, just there to support us.
Yeah, there's a few people that don't normally come out that made the effort, and it just, definitely it felt like a real family.
The only other one that I'd like to throw into the mix was our first time at Why Not, when we were playing the Hog and Barrel, and the Hog and Barrel was running later than everywhere else.
Yeah.
Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds finished before we finished, and the only place you could get a beer was in the Hog and Barrel, and we went from playing to about 100 people to playing to about 300 people.
Yeah.
Pretty sharpish.
Yeah, it was a good gig.
towards the end of our set, and the reception to just like 3 or 4 songs was pretty mint.
So do you want to take it? No. I'll start the riff by myself. I'll do it little.
If you could open for any band, what would be the band that you'd go with?
That's a question.
I think it depends. I think it entirely depends on the situation. A lot of people would probably expect us to say Clutch. Now, you might see a little bit disdain. I've got no beef for Clutch. But none of my influences come from them. They might from these gentlemen.
Yeah, I've got time for the love.
I've got time for it. I think it's purely, completely and utterly situational.
Well, I'd like to open for Pearl Jam or Aerosmith, just because they're both amazing.
If we could time travel, if time travel was a thing, Led Zeppelin in their prime.
Is time travel a thing? Can we have time travel?
Can we have time travel?
Can we have time travel?
I will throw in time travel.
We have one time travel and one...
Yeah, okay, one from the past and one from today.
Sick. Game changer.
Yeah, that is a game changer.
Right, you're having Zeppelin.
Zepp in their prime, yeah.
Who's your now?
Oh God. That's even more difficult because we've got so much sort of thrown in to what we do now. If you think about who we go with, you're worried I'm going to say Blackstone Cherry.
I am, because I'm probably going to say Blackstone.
Yeah.
Even though I mean I adore Blackstone's first 2 albums and then they've kind of changed over the past few years, but I still think for us at this point they'd be such an awesome support because we just marry really.
I'll take it. Well, you can have Blackstone Cherry, Rival Sons.
Oh, no. Fuck! Maybe I should have said that.
So, I think
None of you are as adventurous as calling for Aerosmith.
Old school. You three probably know straight away. I'm going to say Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath before they released Volume 4, ideally. And current, I'm going to have to say Church of the Cosmic Skull.
Oh, that's
good shout.
Yeah.
Good shout.
They're not huge, but they're fucking awesome.
Yeah. Who's your time travel?
Hendrix.
I've got a time travel left, haven't I? I've got a time travel card left to play. I'll go playing with Free at the Isle of Wight Festival. It's
specifically.
But specifically the Isle of Wight festivals, that day was just full of like Janis Joplin, everybody. And if we could just slot in the middle of there.
Oh, so that's cheating slightly because you've like gone into
He's at a festival
No,
like
no. Yeah, but hey, this is my time machine. All right, I'm taking it where I want. I just happened to have found a loophole in the game that I'm taking. If that's all right.
Yeah, you can do it.
The main goal I've got at the moment is just to play a gig. That's what I'm feeling, because we ain't done it for nearly 6 months now. It's going to be beyond 6 months before we do it.
Well, I think we're already pretty much teasing a second album pretty soon, aren't we? We're building towards that. When that'll be and when that'll be born, we're not sure yet. But I think that's definitely one of the goals. Just to grow. Really, I think we're on a really good path at the minute, and as long as we keep going down there, with support from the people we've got around us, I think we'll progress nicely. The other goals from when you're thrown.
From my throne.
When you're thrown.
Goals for me. Get the creative juices flowing a bit more. Crack on with the second full release, get back up to Wales if that's where we end up going, spend some time away, get it recorded.
You just want to see Jethro again?
Yes.
I'm wondering why he thinks Wales is up though.
Yeah.
Because I'm always on a downer.
Oh, don't say that, man.
Until I'm in Wales.
With Jethro, when he feels like
With Jethro. It's in this Welsh blood in me, boys.
Okay. You have like 5 things that you can pick that you can't live without. What would be your 5?
Cheese, chocolate milkshake, pork scratchings, music, and sleep.
Guitar, Mrs. J's, cats, 3, my mum and dad, and...
Yeah, it'd be hard to live without them.
Yeah, nice one, Artwell, yeah. Alright, 4, my mum and dad, and 5, cheesy pasta.
My guitar, definitely. My phone, definitely. Couldn't live without it. Burgers, specifically shit ones, like McDonald's and stuff. Can't beat them.
You coming across like an organic mermaid at this point.
My car, I'm lazy, don't want to walk anywhere. And the boys.
Oh, you had one of mine.
You wouldn't be here without us, would you?
Because I was gonna wrap like my wife and children and my mum and dad all in one family bubble.
Oh fuck! I should have done that.
And then I was gonna say my drum kit, you 3, pepperoni pizza. Oh, what's the last thing? You know what?
Wolves.
Me other half won't let me live this down, but probably my phone. I just, it feels like a limb extension, and I don't think I can function without it.
I feel some sort of release whenever. It frustrates me at first, but then when you get somewhere, you got no signal, and it's like for all day or a few days. It's just like.
See, we had that in Wales for a bit, didn't we? The Wi-Fi kept putting in and out, and I think it helped to bring us a bit closer together. It's difficult though, because I think we live in a time where we do so much. I mean, us 4 communicate every day through having a phone, and share ideas. It's just trying to use it in the most positive way. Isn't it?
It felt nice that it was bringing us close together, and then we started playing FIFA and getting violent towards each other again.
It's not our fault.
It's not our fault.
You're just pathetic.
It's your 2's fault I was stuck with him though, isn't it?
Hey. I tried, alright?
It's embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
Okay. Last thing. Like, we all know about the bad things that have happened with lockdown. Can you, like, take one good thing that you've got from lockdown, from being, like, in this situation? Is there anything good that we can get from it?
On a whole, getting to spend more time with the family, and like
Because you live in the same house.
processing things in a different way. We live in the same house, but we're not always in the same zone.
It's the same for me as well. Like I get up every morning before lockdown. I get up every morning. I go to work. My other half gets up, goes to work. My little girl goes to school. My little boy goes to the childminders. And for 4 months, it's just 5 months. It's not been like that. I've got up every day pretty much, and they've been there, and I've got to spend that time that I wouldn't have done with them. And that's I've been able to see things and do things that I wouldn't have done had I been in an office. So being able to spend more time with them has been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've worked from home for the last 10 years, so literally the only thing that changed for me was I couldn't see anyone after work.
Oh.
Everything else was the same.
You got to see our loving faces through the conservatory window when we were signing the CDs.
I did, yeah, but it would have been better to see you in the building, wouldn't it? In the house.
It would have been nice.
You did see us in the house. We did Zoom calls and stuff. We were in your house then, just on your computer. That was the.
It's not the same.
Not with him anyway. You never know what room he's in. That's the problem.
We can't have a cuddle over Zoom.
He's got his headphones. I'm surprised he ain't got them on now.
I should have brought him, really. Should have brought him.
We can't have a cuddle over Zoom, and also we don't know if Sam's shitting while talking to us.
Yeah, it's a constant fear. I think it's been good to have the time just to relax for a bit. In terms of obviously,
it would have been nice.
I feel bad now. I've been living the furlough dream for about 5 months. But it's good though, because the furlough's made me realise what I want to do in life and how I can get there, and I've been able to have time to try and put a progression towards that, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without it. I think that's something that we've never been able to have in life. And to be fair, I went to go and see our friend Nick at Bar One, and I was to talk about how kind of amazing furlough's been for me in terms of how it's opened my eyes. But then I went to see Nick and obviously yourself, Hartwell, and loads of people have been affected differently for it. It did make me think differently about it, you know, because obviously being self-employed and running a pub, it's been pretty shit for him. You know, so it has made me kind of, you know, appreciate that everyone's had a much harder experience, you know. But overall, I've tried to take quite a few positives from it.
Cool. Yep. We're done.
Sam says, "Get Hartwell in the river."
No.
Hey, I tell you what I have done in my spare time. I've learned how to play the saxophone solo to Careless Whisper.
Well, I'm glad you're using your tongue. Oh, what, actually? Oh, do you want to see me theremin quickly?
Have you brought it?
Yeah.
She's dying to say that.
What, where's my theremin?
No, Lucy.
That's my favourite new catchphrase. Put, where's my theremin? Put, where's my theremin? What you can do as well, you can listen to see if there's any airplanes coming in.
Does it pick one?
Yeah. Now, what you've got to do is you can't scare the theremin, because otherwise you'll upset it, alright? It's a very, very difficult, it's very emotional beast, alright?
I've not seen a look of excitement on his face like this for a long time.
You have to be very careful, because otherwise you'll upset it. And nobody can move when it's coming out from here. Don't move.
I've never played it.
I can't move. How are we going to have it on stage?
So I've got a switchboard in. I've got a tune on that one here. It's not normally that noisy. But we'll roll it. If you turn it on full, nobody can do anything. It just gets so upset.
The theremin part for crazy horses.
I can play Silent Night, look, listen.
Just like it, mate.
Just like play the theremin. It's very that's where it's about controllable, but if you whack it up to a level where like, someone farts and goes off.
Who invented that?
Sandy. Very good, isn't it?